All right, everybody, welcome back. Episode number 2. I'm here with my wonderful co-host.
Jared will.
All right, it's glad to have everybody back. We have been pushing out a lot of content lately on our social medias, and we've been getting a lot of good feedback. People are not happy with Jared Will's Heisman or receiver take. I've seen a lot of
I wasn't happy
comments.
with the Heisman one either.
Yeah, well, look, hey, it is what it is. It's fine, but we're happy to have everybody back. Um, we're gonna keep rolling out some more. I think Jared and I both have some ideas going on here soon for like our own kind of individual segments that we're gonna do. So stay tuned for those. Um, outside of that, I think we just jump right into it. I think what we're gonna start out with is, I know
Who wants us
ball.
to start?
I know ball. That's all I gotta say. Jared, if you would love to pull up our graphic for us that we had gotten made of our records this week, and we'll kind of just review, talk about them a little bit, what we did like, what we didn't like, that kind of stuff. It'll be quick. We're not gonna because we got a laundry list of stuff to talk about today. All right, there it is. Boom. So Jared, obviously you're below 500 to start out the entire thing. How do you feel about that?
It's not how you start. It's how you finish.
Hey, look, I only missed out on three. I was honestly pretty happy about that. I took some long shots in there, I think. The UNLV one surprised me. I really didn't think Boise State was going to pull that out. I was right about the Indiana one. I'm happy about that. I knew Georgia was going to end up beating Alabama. The craziest thing in that Bama game, them getting held to -3 rushing yards. Like,
Auburn is leading Bama in rushing yards this week. That's all I'm gonna
hey, I mean, look, holding an
say.
SEC team to -3 rushing yards, I get it. It's Georgia, they're a powerhouse. I get that, but it's like, dude, what?
I mean, you got Bama wasn't at full strength. You got to take that into account. I mean, Jam Miller's their lead back. You can say what you want. He's not as good as Daniel Hill, but he's their lead back. He's the one that's got the most experience. That's the one they're going to lean on in that game. And they just
Yeah.
don't have him to lean on in that game. I think that played a factor into it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Like I said, I kind of was jumping between games a little bit. Obviously, Tech blows them out of the water. Like, I mean, BYU is just gone. Like, they scored 7 points in the
Yeah.
first quarter, and then it was a track meet after that for Texas Tech. Um, I think the biggest shocker, right? I think obviously Indiana beating Ohio State was a big one, right? I think the other big one was Duke pulling off the upset in overtime.
Who called it?
You called it. You called it. You called it. I give it to you.
Give my flowers.
I give it to you. You called it. You know, Chandler Morris just didn't look very good. He went a little above 50% in his passing, his completion percentage. He only threw for 216 yards. He had two tuds, but um, Darian Mensah too. I attribute that game. Duke controlled the line of scrimmage, and they just ran the ball a bunch, and obviously it worked for them. Right? They got the win. I think that was the biggest thing.
Made the throws when he had to.
Hey, and that's all you really can ask for out of your quarterback, right? Just make it happen when it needs to happen, and you're good. Um, like I said, we're not going to touch on this too much. Obviously, I beat the crap out of them, so you know it is what it is. We got some more coming in later in the video. We'll have some more picks of our like top bowl games. Obviously, the Army Navy game, that's a huge deal for college football, having that every year. And then we're going to go into our bracket. So actually, I say we just jump right into the bracket. Jared, what do you think? Obviously, on its reactions of,
I think it's a great idea.
I mean, we had a lot of things go on. Like obviously, you have a lot of people pissed off, but there's our beautiful bracket that us, the house, have created. Um, so, Jared, let me ask you this: who is the biggest snub so far? That when the bracket's out, it's set in stone. This is what we're looking at. Who was the biggest snub in your mind?
I mean, I hate to say it. I think the biggest snub is Duke. Letting
Okay.
JMU get that, letting JMU get the sixth conference championship spot. Let's be honest, that game is going to be over by halftime. And I don't think JMU's a better football team than Duke.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
think Duke might have a better resume. JMU played an ACC team, and I think they got boat raced, if I recall right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. What matchup do you like most in the first round?
I think that's a two-parter. Okay. Obviously, I think the Tulane Ole Miss game they played earlier in the season. I think the final score was like 45-7. It wasn't even close. It was some. They got boat race in that game. Obviously, JMU Oregon isn't. I think your two biggest matchups, right, is to look at is at A&M and Miami, and then obviously my Sooners, baby, versus Alabama, right? I think that's kind of the big. I think the biggest game, though, I think that has the biggest implications, and a team that could actually run the table, I think, comes out of that OU and Alabama game. That will be played on December 19th at night. It's a night game at Gaylord Memorial. I'm trying to go. If I do go, maybe I can go live a little bit during the game for our fans and everything. For the house, obviously. But no, I think naturally, right. I think the biggest matchup that I'm excited to watch is obviously OU Alabama. I think my second biggest one, and it's kind of like 1A 1B, is obviously Miami A&M. I think that's going to be a really really good game. Obviously Miami sneaks in at the seventh hour to be able to get into this game. I I, I don't understand. I guess this is where kind of the committee comes in. I don't understand how a team who you've left out for multiple weeks now at the very very end just sneaks in over a team. Like I don't get that. I think Notre Dame is probably the biggest snub. I think Vandy is another name that you could throw in there. Um, Everybody, here's my biggest caveat, right? And I hear it all the time, and it pisses me off. Everybody's like, "Oh, Texas should be in. Texas should be in." I'm sorry, they shouldn't. You're a three-loss team. Your worst loss comes from a 4-8 Florida, and you're telling me you should be in the CFP? Yeah, it was in the swamp. Whatever. But you look at all these teams on this record, minus the G5.
They beat two
Everybody,
teams in the playoffs, though.
hey,
That's got to be worth something.
it is. But you dropped a third to a really really
You
bad
held
team,
Ohio State to 13 points.
and that was a week one. Nobody knows what they're doing in week one.
Mm.
I mean, look, like
And you can
I mean,
say that about
Alabama lost to
Alabama
Florida
and
State.
Bama.
Alabama lost to Florida State in week one. Now look at them; they're in the 9 spot. Made the SEC championship game. Only lost 2 games total the entire season prior to the SEC championship, and they got in. So I'm hearing all this talk about Texas not getting in because they played Ohio State. They shouldn't have scheduled a tough game. That's not the case at all. Y'all lost to a bad Florida team. Doesn't matter if you schedule Ohio State or not. You have a horrible loss on your record. Who did OU lose to? What, the number 14 team in the nation in Texas and the number 6 team in the playoffs? Every other team we beat. So it's like you people kind of have this ideology around that it's the best teams make it in. I'm sorry, but if you have a horrible loss, like I'm not negating Texas is a good team, like they really are. There's a few kids on that roster that I've coached. They're a good team and they got good players. Problem is, you're just going over the fact that you lost to Florida and you're trying to use the Ohio State game as your out, where you schedule Ohio State, that's a quality loss for you, and then you only lose one more game after that. You're probably sitting at 6. You probably, in all actuality, you don't lose to Florida. You're probably sitting at 6. OU's probably still sitting at 8, and the
I
whole
think
bracket looks
that they
different.
lost to Georgia hurts them more than the Florida loss.
I mean, in theory, it could, but I mean, again, right? That's another quality loss. I mean, yeah, you lose by double digits,
But was
but
it really a quality loss?
it depends. I mean, we're not. I don't want to touch too much on them. I think the biggest snub was Notre Dame. Here's my biggest takeaway, and I feel like the committee should do this. If you make the conference championship, you are in. If you win the conference championship, the ACC, the Big Ten, the SEC, and the Big 12, if you win your conference, you get a bye week. Everybody else fills in. That gives you 8 teams to fill out your bracket. Okay, that leaves what? That gives you 3 teams, 3 of the best rest of the teams in the entire country to get in. At that point, Maybe you give one spot to a G5 team. Maybe you're just like, hey, here's a pity one at number 12. You can have that. That gives you two teams. You can't negate at any point in that. The problem is they're not making the conference championship games worth anything. They just aren't, and that's a problem. So, um, obviously, you see the bracket, Jared. I want to hear kind of your run through. I know we talked about it off camera and everything, but what does your final bracket look like? Kind of run me through.
Like predictions?
Yeah, yeah. Let me hear what Jared Wills got up in the brain.
I mean, you gotta go Oregon over JMU.
I
No,
mean,
no
I
doubt.
mean, yeah. We could knock out the Oregon and Ole Miss one. We can just move them on already. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer.
I say it's hard for a team to beat a team twice, but Oklahoma's gonna do it, and they're gonna do it convincingly.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't the game that I wanted to pull week one. That was not the game that I wanted to pull in the first round.
Bama should be playing A&M, but we won't get into that.
Hey, I would have loved it. I'd have loved Miami to go 9, Alabama go 10. We get to go play a bad ACC team. I'd have been happy. Um, so far you got.
Well,
I would love that. But who's your Miami A&M pick?
going with the fighting Texas Aggie.
Feel like that was kind of a dumb thing for me to
That
ask,
Texas
right?
A&M team. That Texas A&M team is too talented.
Okay, okay. I do like what Jimbo Fisher has done out there. He's done a really good job. Okay, so you got. I'm gonna go from bottom to top here. You got A&M versus Ohio State in round two. What are you thinking?
A lot of things come into factor there, but I want to hear what you got. Break it down.
So here's my thing, right? 1 and 2 just played. We have a general idea, right? I've said that the Big Ten is a very cupcake league, right? We just saw 1 and 2 face off. Question is do we think A&M can beat arguably one of the best teams in the country on a neutral site, or do we think Ohio State has too much firepower for them on the offensive side of the ball? That's the question. I think it'll be Ohio State. I really do. Um, Obviously, watching Marcel Reed in the latter half of the season, it's a little worrisome, but I do like Ohio State in that one. Uh-oh.
Did you say you had Ohio State or A&M?
I had Ohio State. I like Ohio State in that one.
I'm taking the Aggies.
Okay, okay, the Aggies to make it to the semis. Okay, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, right? I think that game, a lot of these games in the second round are going to be slugfest. I think it's literally there's two cupcakes for two teams, and then the rest of it is just slugfest all the way through to the national champion. Like whoever wins the national championship deserves it because they had to go through something real horrible, right, to get there. So obviously, Ole Miss, Georgia, right? They're SEC. We know how they can play. We know kind of their parameters that they're in, right, in the SEC. I think I know who you're going to go with. Obviously, I think the whole Lane Kiffin departure, which we're going to get into, I think that's going to affect Ole Miss. I really do in the second round, playing against a good team. So I'm going to take Georgia in that one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Give me Georgia by 2 scores.
Oh, okay, 2 scores. I like
Um,
that.
you saw what they did to Bama yesterday. It was no contest.
Hmm.
I don't think Ole Miss is anywhere near the talent level Bama is. So give me the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I like it. All right, now on to my boys. Tried and true to the heart. Going and playing Indiana in the Rose Bowl in Cali on New Year's Day. So obviously, right, watch the Indiana and Ohio State game. That was a defensive battle. And I think if Ohio State doesn't sell that that final field goal, I think Indiana doesn't win. Could be close. I mean, Sayan only missed, 8 passes that entire game. Still threw for 260 and a tud. Um, I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm obviously going to take OU here, right? But I think it's going to be a low scoring OU win. I think it may be a Big Ten championship kind of thing. It may be a 13-10. It may be something like that, right? But I think OU wins it just purely based off the defense and what they'll be able to do on that side. And I think John Mateer will have a few plays like he's been doing through the season so far, where he'll break off one or two, and then our defense will take over and we'll be fine. I think OU beats Indiana.
Yeah, I don't think Indiana's played a defense like the Sooners all year. And quite frankly, OU's offense is miles better than Indiana's in my opinion. Besides the run game, which if OU gets the run game figured out, watch out for them in this college football playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
give me the Sooners. I
Okay.
don't think the Sooners. I just don't see them losing this game unless Tier just has the worst game of his life.
Yeah. Like arguably right, like you going back to the OU LSU game. John Mateer threw 3 interceptions and still won the game. I
He
think he
also
actually
had 300 yards.
exactly like I mean, and that's the thing. Like our defense can hold those guys off until we see a Deion Burks 40-yard screen or a 65-yard touchdown pass to Isaiah Satania when the defense breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
Our offense is the one that's going to drive us down the field, get us in the red zone, and then Tate Sandell is going to kick in 3 points for us. All right, there's first
See,
drive.
the thing I like about Oklahoma is their wide receivers. They're not big bodies. They'll go up and get it. No, but they'll make you miss, and
Yeah,
they'll make you pay when you miss.
yeah. We've got
And I
one
think that could pay dividends.
oh 100%. And we got one big body, Javante Gibson. He's back. We finally got him. He's back out on the outside. Um, No, I agree. I think OU, if we can get the offense somewhat figured out, right? I think if we have the LSU offense or the OU offense we had during LSU, just minus the turnovers, I think we're rolling. Um, but okay, so we got so far
On to Lubbock.
our semifinal. Okay, is for you A&M, Georgia, OU. For me, it's Ohio State, Georgia, and OU. So Oregon and
Lubbock
Tech.
quarterfinal.
Oregon and
On to
Tech.
Lubbock, Texas. Oil country.
Yeah, that way. I mean, hey, if it's not going to be in Lubbock, sadly. But if it was,
It's not?
no, it's a. That's when they start their bowl games all in that
Oh, you're right.
quarterfinal.
You're right. You're right.
I
I
feel like
forgot.
they should do it semifinals and national championship. But I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
But um,
Man, a home game in Lubbock would have went crazy.
oh, 100%. Like I would have loved, dude. That thing, that stadium would have been rocking. But the question is, does Oregon's offense have more firepower than Texas Tech's ferocity on the defensive side of the ball?
No,
You going Tech?
I don't think they do. I'm going Tech.
I I'm right there with you. I think Oregon are frauds. Like I'm just being honest. I
I
think
wouldn't
they
go that far.
I,
I
I
mean, I'd go that far.
I think they blow out JMU.
Oregon's a good football team.
They got
I
exposed
just
against
think they're a
Indiana.
better football team. It was a one-score game.
I mean, dude, but 2 turnovers in that game. I mean, that defense was stifled a very explosive offense. So I think Texas Tech has a really, really good defense, and I think they shut down Oregon. And Oregon, they can't win in big games. They just can't.
Hold up. Is Evan Stewart gonna be back for the playoffs?
No, he'll be out the rest of the season still.
Okay, that's
I,
fine.
I know I know
Yeah,
they've
I'll
kind of
Tech. Give me
kind
Tech.
of yeah. I'm gonna go Tech with you. I think, quite frankly, I think that's what it is.
All right.
All right, let's go
You want to
bottom to
start
top
Tech
here.
OU or
Nah, we can't.
Texas A&M Georgia?
Let's go A&M. Let's for you. I think Georgia wins no matter who they play in the second round. I really do. They just look too good right now, and they're just steamrolling over teams. I think it's Georgia no matter what in the national championship for me. Um, but you got A&M in Georgia, so I want to hear what you have to say on that one.
I think this is where you see Marcel Reed play like the Marcel Reed we saw mid-season.
Oh, oh,
I don't think Georgia has the corners to hold A&M's wide receivers. I really don't.
okay,
And if A&M can get that run game going, you might see some trouble in Georgia.
okay.
I think the Aggies can win this game, especially that pass rush.
Hmm.
Georgia has a young O line. I think there's one upperclassman, and it's Drew Bobo, the center, and it's not even certain he's going to play in the playoffs. Give me the Aggies.
Okay. So I got Georgia, you got A&M. Okay. Now let's go to the big boy game. Okay. Old Big 12. Which, I don't know if you know this, favorite quarterback. You obviously know my favorite quarterback, but the house doesn't. Baker Mayfield. Going back,
Baker Mayfield Bowl.
hey, going back to the day where Baker and Pat Mahomes put on a clinic for everybody, an instant classic. What's that meme? Absolute cinema. Um, and I think this game is going to be the complete polar opposite of that game. I think our defense at the DBs and the Bowen brothers, the young freshman Guillory, um, our pass rush, everything, they're going to affect Texas Tech's offense. But again, we don't know what kind of OU offense we're going to get. So I do think it's the polar opposite of that game back in the day when we were Big 12 buddies. And I think it's a low scoring affair. I do think OU does pull it out because I do feel like we're an SEC team. We're built to win SEC games. To our little brothers in the Big 12, we left you for a reason. You're not powerful enough. You're not good enough, frankly, for us anymore. That's why we had to leave. So, give me OU, obviously. So, it looks like for you, your national championship is number 8 OU.
That's you.
Oh, you like Tech and Art? Oh, hold on. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you that. Hold on. Where you going with that, Jared Will? Where you going with that?
Well, I think Tech's offense is better than OU's. They can run the ball. They can pass it.
Okay.
On defense, they can stop the run. They can rush the passer. They can play. They do it all. I just think this Tech team has way too much talent on it to not go to the championship. You know what they say?
I know
It's
what
not
they
about
say.
the X's and O's if you don't have the Jimmies and Joes. And Tech's got the Jimmies and Joes. And it starts with Jacob Rodriguez and Lee Hunter on that defense. And Romello Height rushing on the edge. And I just think Texas Tech's defense is going to be too much for OU's offense. And all Texas, I'm going to say this: first team to 17 points wins this game, and it's going to be the Red Raiders. Give me a Texas national championship with A&M and the Raiders.
Wow. You know, you and I were, honestly, we're almost good all the way till the end. But I mean, dude, I look, we got the best defense in the country, statistically speaking. It's not even argued we do. I mean, look, Tech's quarterback Morton, right? He went 20 for 33 with 215 and two tuds against a really bad BYU defense.
I mean, they ran the ball too. He didn't
I
necessarily
mean,
have
15,
to throw it.
15 carries for 80 yards. That's good. That's a good running back stat line. But I mean, come on, like, what are we talking
All
about
about the
here?
carry.
I mean, what are we talking about here? Tech might not even get a freaking yard against OU in that. Hey, hold on. I'm gonna get heated. All right, we got the best front seven in the country. So, I look. That's your opinion. I like it. Tech, and A&M. We got a Texas national championship. Okay, a Texas national championship played in Florida. Okay, I've got an SEC national championship. OU Georgia. Do you want to take the lead, or you want to leave the homer for the end to close off the segment? What you want to do? You want to close it off, or you want me to close it off?
can close it off because we know where you're going.
Okay.
There's no question where
Okay.
you're going.
Okay.
Man, I feel like it's gonna be one of the best national championships we've seen in a while. I mean, the Ohio State Notre Dame one was close,
Mhm.
but was, but really that game wasn't close till there was about 3 minutes left, and Notre Dame miraculously came back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the year before, Michigan just embarrassed Washington. That was the year. No, no, that was the year before, right?
The
Yeah, I
year
think so.
before would have been. Yeah, I believe it was Michigan.
Because then the year before that, Georgia embarrassed TCU.
Yeah. 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 That's right. Like you said, it's all about X. It's not
Give
about
me
the
the
X's and
Aggies.
O's. Okay.
Give me
Just
the Aggies.
you just rattled it off real quick there. I like it.
Coach Mike Elko gets it done his second year in College Station. Give me the Aggies.
Okay. So you
I said,
said.
I said the other day, quarterbacks win games.
Okay.
There is not a better quarterback in this playoff than Marcel Reed. You
Wow.
can argue DeCorian Moore, and I would listen to your argument, but I wouldn't put much thought into it. You could argue Fernando Mendoza, but then, I mean, Penn State held them to like 230, a touchdown, and a couple picks. Marcel Reed is that guy. He came back down 27 points against South Carolina in the SEC
But
and a half.
he put them in that hole. He did that to themselves. He caused that with 3 interceptions in the first half. He caused
And he
that.
dug himself out of it.
Hey, and again, right? Same thing with John Mateer. He dug himself into the hole. He was managed to get himself out. I understand completely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think Marcel Reed's in a tier of his own when you look at the quarterbacks in the playoffs.
Okay. That,
Trinidad Chambliss, he's good. He's good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not Marcel Reed good, and that's why the Texas A&M Aggies are gonna win the national championship this year.
okay. Okay. I
When you got receivers like Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion and Ashton Bethel Roman, with a run game paired with Le'Veon Moss and Ruben Owens, and don't even get me started on the defense.
no, I don't. Hey,
You got
believe me, I
Texas
don't want to
Howell,
get you
one of
started
the
there.
nation's leading sack leaders. You got Des Ricks and Will Lee blanketing on the edges. And then you got Dalton Brooks at safety and Torian York at linebacker. A&M's loaded. There is no reason this team can't win the national championship, and that is why they're my pick.
Okay. I like it. You told me. You wanted me to close it out because you think you know where my mind's going. So here's my honest assessment, right? My heart. My heart down here tells me, okay? It says, Caleb, you know who you want to take in this. You know what you want to do. But my brain just tells me that Georgia team is just they're just too good. But hey, I don't give a I almost cuss. I don't give nothing about a Georgia team, a bulldog, a bullfrog, or a bull hog. Sooners by 50, national champions. Lock it in.
I'm sure we'll see that clip again in the future.
Hey, look, it's just hey again, right?
Possibly even after next weekend.
My heart tells me that's what I should go with. Mentally, a football mind, watching football tells me Georgia, but my heart, you always got to follow your heart, okay? Because guess what? We're hard to kill and we're gonna do it. That was enough on the bracket segment. Obviously, we had a lot to go through there.
Moving
And a lot to go through there.
moving
Obviously,
to
the
Louisiana. We didn't talk about this last episode.
I know that's what
We're
I
going
was about to
full throttle
say.
right now.
Hey, come on, hammer it down.
Start
Let's
it
get it.
off. Start it off. What are we getting into? Tell them.
All right, Lane Kiffin. Obviously, the whole situation. He has some of the most notorious like coaching departure fails. I still think Lincoln Riley's is the worst because guess what? Lincoln Riley, you're hated in Norman. Don't ever come back. You left to go to a team and still haven't made the CFP, and we did before you did. That's all I'm gonna say. But
I think Brian Kelly's is worse, but that's just me.
I mean, look, I mean,
Didn't
he's
even
had
meet with his team and just left.
he got fired.
Develop some
Are you
fake
talking about
Cajun
his?
accent
Oh, you're talking about the Notre Dame.
and then gets fired 2 years in.
I don't
Yeah,
I
he had a
look.
Heisman winner, Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels was the best athlete in the nation that year.
I mean, look, you
You
leave
could see his freshman year at Oregon when he upset Justin Herbert how good Jaden Daniels was going to be.
at the end of the day,
Freshman year at Arizona State
you
against
let you left a
Clemson.
playoff team in the midst of going to the playoffs for what? To go to another SEC team? Yeah, the money's there, the NIL, the boosters, all that fancy stuff that they got over there. I don't know. I didn't like the move personally. I thought he should have stayed at Ole
I
Miss.
understand it.
He
I
he was
disagree.
he was backed at Ole Miss. He was loved at Ole Miss. I feel like he really just needed to ask and he would have received. That's just me personally. Now, again, it's LSU, obviously a blue blood, right? He came to Ole Miss, brought it out of the depths of the dumpster. Okay, but again, I my initial assumption about it all is he just I don't understand the move, especially kind of in the position that you were in, but prior to leaving, I don't get it. I think it's a horrible move by him, and I think it's going to be another Brian Kelly situation. I feel like he's not going to succeed how they think he is in the next 2 to 3 years, and I think he's out.
Yeah, LSU's going to be in the playoffs next year. He's going to hit the portal hard. He's in a talent hotbed of Southern Louisiana. So much talent comes out of there every year. And where do all those kids go? They go to LSU. Look at Lamar Brown. Look at Odell Beckham Jr.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay. Look at Tyrann Matthew. I can go on and on. Louisiana kids go to LSU. Mississippi kids, where he was at, go to Alabama and Auburn. Hmm. Five-star quarterback, Lane's backyard. Where'd he go? Where'd this guy go? He went to Auburn. That's not gonna happen no more at LSU. Lane Kiffin's gonna get who he wants, when he wants, where he wants, and he's gonna develop and have one of the best offenses in the nation. And then you look at the other side of the ball. He just retained Blake Baker, one of the best young defensive coordinator minds in the nation. Someone that team is willing to fight and play for. LSU is going to be in the playoffs next year. This is not a Brian Kelly scenario. Or Ed Odron, if you want to go back further.
I don't know, man. I didn't. I mean, the rumors that are coming out that came out of Oxford when that whole happened, you know, there's a lot of backtracking being done by Lane. There's a lot of backtracking being done. Oh, they wouldn't let me meet. All of a sudden, it's no, he just didn't want to meet with us. It just looks slimy. It just
It's he said, she said at this point.
yeah, it just reminded me a lot of the Lincoln Riley time, right? And I think honestly, that was the same year, if I'm not mistaken. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Lincoln Riley left in 21, 20? I
The
can't remember.
year, it was the season, not the season before, but this prior season to y'all joining the SEC. So y'all joined the SEC last year, maybe?
So it'd have been 20, 21. It'd have been 21. I was right. That's because that's when
Okay,
Caleb
it was the
Williams
all season of
developed.
21.
Yeah, that's when Caleb Williams developed and everything. We were in the height of making the playoffs at that time, but we lost to Oklahoma State, which kept us out.
Yeah, that was a
It's
bad loss.
yeah, it was.
And they lost a heartbreaker to Baylor. That would have put them in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about the Oklahoma State game because, quite frankly, it should have been a PI on uh, Drake Stoops in the end zone, but we're not even going to talk about it.
We're
It's
past
fine.
that.
Yeah, it's again, it just reminds me too much of the Lincoln Riley situation. I don't like it. I think it's kind of slimy.
I think they're different.
I think it's snakish in my personal opinion, because
I think they're different.
coming from a kid, right, that played college football, was recruited, and everything like that. Those coaches have to sit there and basically tell you, my job's fine, I'm winning, right? Because I was a D3 guy, so it wasn't anything crazy, right? But home visits and stuff like that, I was going to winning programs, and these coaches were telling me, sitting there to my face, I'm not leaving. And guess what? None of those coaches left in my 4 years that I was, going through college and stuff. None of them left. But how can you at the Division 1 level go to a recruit's family, someone that's supposed to trust you to be able to develop them and say, "Yeah, I'm staying here for your 4 years, 5 years. Don't worry about it, da da da." And all somebody has to do is throw an extra couple million at you and you just basically hit the peace
Throw
sign and
an
say,
extra 6, but
but you get what I'm saying, right? Like it just seems so like snakish. And that's why like I love our OU fan base. I think the Lincoln Riley, I think that's why it hurts so bad is because he really just kind of he was coordinator under Bob Stoops. We didn't want Bob Stoops to retire. He retired, right? And then we bring in an ex-coach for us in Brent Venables. You know, he played at K-State. He played against OU in the Big 12 back in the day. Then he comes in as a defensive guy for us. He's there, then leaves to Clemson, goes to be the DC, then comes back to be the head coach. The ties are there, especially with Ben Arbuckle's first date with his wife was at an OU game. The lineage, that's the thing. We bring in guys that we know we can trust and that have lineage to the school and want to be great. I just don't see that around the college football anymore. I think I watched Ole Miss's new head coach. He said something. Their current defense coordinator, now head coach. He said there's only about 3 or 4 colleges right now that have the stability, and it's Georgia. He said obviously them. That I mean he's a Mississippi guy. He's gonna stay in Mississippi. Dan Lanning is fine, but I would argue to say put OU in there. Like I don't think BV's leaving for any other head coaching job. He's a powerhouse in the SEC now. He builds a defense to what he wants it to be. As long as he keeps winning, OU's going to keep him. But I don't like the Lane Kiffin move. I don't. I'll be the first one to say it. I think it's slimy. I think it's snakish. That's just where I'm at.
moving on to Happy Valley.
Yep.
Penn State, in the final hours of signing day, hired Iowa State head coach Matt Campbell.
Yeah.
Personally, I like the hire.
I
It's not
love it.
flashy. It's not bad. It's just the right hire they needed to make at the right time with what the hand they were dealt.
Yeah.
A lot of
I
people don't know this. Coaching agent Jimmy Sexton was blocking his clients from talking to Penn State because how they handled James Franklin's situation. So
I didn't
that
know
put
that.
Penn State behind the 8 ball. They couldn't talk to any coaches that were represented by Coach Jimmy Sexton out of Nashville.
Huh.
I believe that Matt Campbell is a Clint. I think the last name's Hogel or Hurdle. He's also based out of Nashville, so that makes sense to why Matt Campbell was the hire. Personally, I'm surprised they didn't reach out to DJ Durkin of Auburn. I think Durkin could have killed it. He's from Ohio, right next to Penn State. Played at Bowling Green, coached at Bowling Green, coached down in Maryland, which ain't too far from Penn State. And I just think Durkin. I know the Maryland stint didn't work out how he wanted it to, and there's a lot that went wrong there. A lot of stuff he couldn't help. I just think he could have been a home run hire for Penn State.
Yeah. I I mean personally, like I love the hire. Right. I mean obviously being an OU guy, you played it. I played against. We've played against Matt Campbell literally every year prior to jumping into the SEC. Played him for like 7, 8 years. He's a great coach. I think he's
He's a good
perfect.
coach. He won at Iowa State.
Yeah,
Iowa State's not easy to win at.
yeah. I mean, he's out there in Ames, Iowa. Like it's just hard to recruit out there, get guys to get out there. Um, but I think it's a great hire. I think he's a really good coach. I think him being in Pennsylvania, that is a hotbed for a lot of really good players. And up there in the kind of that north north Midwest kind of area. I think he'll have the pipeline to get everybody there. I love the hire personally. Um, that's kind of just it's kind of just where I stand with it. I love the hire. I think it's a great hire. I think he's going to win a lot of ball games, and I think his attitude fits the Big Ten. Um, but I know you brought something up before we jumped in here because we're kind of pre-gaming, kind of thinking about what we're talking about and everything. Who who are the? You said there was 2 coordinators. I know one of them. But who was that second coordinator that you really, really, really liked? I think he was going
I
to a
really
certain.
was a big fan of the hire of Florida hiring Buster Faulkner, offensive coordinator, onto their staff.
Okay.
Buster
Let me,
Faulkner, if you don't know, former OC at Georgia Tech, is now OC for the Florida Gators.
okay. Okay.
And
Well,
one reason I really, really like this hire.
okay.
Haynes King, when he got to Georgia Tech, he was an afterthought. He wasn't even He had to compete for the starting job. A former five-star quarterback, mind you. That 2021 class Jimbo Fisher signed, best class ever. Hayes King was the crown jewel of that class as a quarterback. Quarterback's the best, usually the best player in your class or one of. And Hayes King just didn't live up to the expectations in College Station. Flash forward, transfer to Georgia Tech into the Buster Faulkner offense. They go like 7-5, 8-4 last year.
Hmm.
Should have beat Georgia. We won't get into that. That was a terribly officiated game, but go figure. Gotta protect Georgia's brand all you can. Won't get into that. But yeah. And then this year, Haynes King is a Heisman favorite for like 8 weeks of the season, and then he just falls apart, which you can't blame that all on him.
Yeah.
There's a lot we don't know that went into that. But you see what he did with that, and you see how DJ Lagway just didn't perform how people thought he would at the start of his sophomore season. You got to think Buster Faulkner's going to take him under his wing. He's not going to make the offense what he wants it.
Hmm.
He's going to build the offense how he needs to around DJ Lagway. And that offense under head coach John Summerall is going to be very dangerous next year.
I
You
did
got
hear.
freshman wide receiver Dallas Wilson, who was a signing day flip from Oregon last year.
Well,
You got
I
wide
did hear
receiver
rumors
Jaden Studevant.
of DJ Lagway transferring. I did hear rumors. It's kind of floating around Twitter right now. You don't really ever know what you can believe. But there was something that said that DJ plans on entering the portal. Now, he will
Put
be.
it this way: until I see Hayes Fawcett's name with the blue check mark beside it, I'm not putting any thought into it.
Look, I mean, he'll be in there with your favorite quarterback ever, Mr. Jackson Arnold. Um, Obviously, that's a
You can
talking point that
see
we'll
my
leave.
logo or my profile picture on here. That is my favorite quarterback.
But we'll get it. Obviously, we'll get into that. I think that's another kind of video idea for us, right? You taking over kind of recruiting news and everything like that, kind of just piecing that in so you can talk about these big things because obviously recruiting is a major portion in that. And I think with that being said, I think Buster can possibly have the ability to be able to bring in a lot of high-powered
Oh yeah, he'll
recruits.
attract a top talent quarterback.
Oh, 100%. Look, you're in
He turned
Georgia,
Eric
right?
Singleton, a three-star wide receiver out of Douglasville, Georgia. He turned him into the number one player in the portal last year.
So,
Granted, he has not been used how he needs to be at all, but Eric Singleton has all the talent in the world. Should have been a first-round draft pick this year, but
mhm.
we're not going to talk about what happened at Auburn this year.
Well, there was
Eric
another
Singleton's got all the
coordinator.
talent, and there's going to be a lucky NFL team. Continue.
Well, there was another coordinator that you brought up, and I know a little bit more about this guy. I didn't about Buster. I knew that he was the OC at Georgia Tech. I didn't even know until you told me that he got hired at Florida. So, you know, but this coach getting hired to Colorado to be the OC under Mr. Prime Time Dion, Mr. Marion.
Brennan married.
I personally, with the type of recruits and the talent that Dion gets, this is
He's
a
going to get one or two guys he shouldn't get a class because of who he is, and you know Colorado's got money pumping in that program like they've never seen before.
well, just at that point, their hire of Coach Marion, slam dunk. That guy, this was an interesting little thing that I saw on social media. He had been to 13 different schools in 14 years. He has
And we
gone.
see what he did at UNLV with the go-go offense.
I mean, look, he's gone from high school all the way up to Power Five, like opportunity. He has a very
Took the
explosive
Gus Malzahn
offense.
route.
I mean, look, I personally think that is a slam dunk hire. I think his offense fits really well to their 5-star that they brought in. It was Slater, right?
Julian Lewis.
Julian Lewis. Keandre Slater
You're thinking
was
of Caden
the.
Salter, portal.
Yeah, yeah, he was the portal
Caden
from
Salter.
Liberty. You're right. Um, but yeah, Julian Lewis in that offense is like. Honestly, I think we'll get into those later in the year about videos, right? But going through like kind of conference picks and who we think's gonna win and who we think's gonna suck and blah 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 blah. But I think Colorado with this hire, I think that's where they get in at. I think they are going to be probably my front runner for the Big 12, just off of that hire alone. Uh-oh.
Really?
You're making a face. I mean, hey, look. He's got the recruits. There was
Texas
a
Tech just signed the #1 kid in the nation. They have a great recruiting class. They're gonna have another portal class because they got the money. I'm not taking Texas Tech off the top of the Big 12 until they take their self off the top.
so coming from a Big 12 guy. That's fine. That's dandy. That's cool. Big 12 is about offense only, no defense. The skies are wide open for anybody in the world to do whatever they want. Under that offense, I think you're going to see exactly what the Big 12 does best, and that is zero defense, all offense, high scoring octane type of plays, and that is exactly what I believe Coach Marion brings to the table, and I think that's what's going to happen. And I think again, they're one of my front runners. Obviously, Tech is there. BYU, they're bringing back a freshman quarterback, right? Like there's going to be a lot of Utah as well. Like you're going to see movement through there, but I think Colorado is going to have their name in the hat for sure.
If Utah can hang on to Devin Dampier, they would be my #2 for Big 12 next year.
Okay. Again, you
I
know
think
what?
they can hang on to him. I
I'm,
think a SEC or a Big 10 is really going to shop Devin Dampier out of the Big 12.
Here's what I'll say. I'm stamping it right now. Jared, you are going to handle all recruiting news and everything. We're going to make videos for it because honestly, you have a knack for it. You know a lot of these guys. I'm more of the X's and O's. You're more of the Jimmys and Joes. Okay, it's kind of where we fit in best with each other, to use your own phrase, against you. Okay, we've been talking here for a while, right?
Let's
Let's.
move on to game of the year.
Hey, Army Navy baby, the best game. Like I love it. My grandfather served in the Navy, so
My
obviously,
dad, grandfather,
uh,
both.
yeah, exactly. Like, thank you to all military people. Thank you for your service. We do really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's nothing easy, and so we commend you for what you do, and we appreciate everything that you do. But outside of that,
Hey, speaking of which, talking about Navy, let's remember all those that were lost today. 74 years ago in the morning. So December 7th, 1941, in Pearl Harbor.
hey, and amen to that. I
Can't
mean,
forget that.
and look, like you know, football has a tendency to bring kind of people together, right? Um, I think that's how we met. Obviously, if it wasn't for our mutual friend, right, we never would have met. So like football has its way to do that, and I think this military game really brings that together. Obviously, this game is a very huge game for uniforms because obviously they break out new uniforms every year. They make it flashy, they make it look good. If you have them pulled up, I mean, we can show the fans what Navy and Army are breaking out. Um, I can give you some time to look it up too.
Just give me a
Um,
second to find it.
I'll go over the betting lines for all the betting people out there. Navy opens up at -6. The total over under is about 39.5. I think it'll be a low scoring affair. I think Navy probably, my honest opinion, I think Navy covers. I think they cover that -6.5. They're a 9-2 team. I mean, they should have been in the hunt for that kind of G5 spot over UNT and Tulane. They just had to make the conference championship to be in that position, but they weren't. Um, and so I think it'll be a good game. I think Navy will be able to do really well that game. I think they cover the spread for all of y'all that are betting people. I think -6 Navy is probably the way to go. Jared, you thinking Navy here as well?
Oh yeah, Navy, 100%.
Yeah. I mean,
Not a doubt.
Army's barely above 500. Navy's been rattling off wins left and right at 9-2. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. I think the line being at -6 is kind of crazy. Again, it is a rivalry game, so you really don't kind of know where it'll go. Um, but yeah, I like the Army Navy. See, Jared's got his working eyes and brain going.
Keep going. I can't find their uniforms.
It's fine. Let's just show our picks. Let's just show Navy. Let's see. Let's let the fans see the
I
Navy
found the
ones.
Navy uniforms.
Yeah. Let's see the Navy. Obviously, Army. Thank you, but no thank you. Bye. We're Navy people. So let's just see the Navy uniforms. Let's see what they're breaking out. I know there is some deeper meaning behind the Navy uniform. I believe the Navy uniform is the one with the they have the ropes on their helmet, and there was reasons for that. They had 8 ropes for a reason and everything like that. They're really They're really, really cool
Typical
jerseys.
Jolly Roger.
Yeah. So I like the jerseys. I think they're really cool. Armies are cool too, but let's see.
Thanks, but no thanks, Army.
Yeah. I mean, come on now. Those are awesome.
Might have to give my dad an early Christmas present.
I mean that's a beautiful football. I love that. Um, but yeah, Jared, if you wouldn't mind, let's go over to the ESPN. Let's go over to the ESPN. Now we've got a big game for you. Your alma mater breaking it out in a bowl game versus Troy down there in Montgomery, Alabama. What are you thinking here?
On
What's
the road.
yeah? What's your initial assumption? What are you thinking? What are you liking? Obviously, you're gonna pick Jack State at your alma mater, but I do kind of want to understand why you would pick them.
After some consideration, I don't think I'm going to go with the Gamecocks.
Oh, okay, okay.
For one, I don't think Cam Cook is going to be on the roster come December 16th. I think he's going to be either A, in the portal, or B, opted out to protect himself from injury in a meaningless bowl game.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel about that. Sorry.
Okay.
Give me the
Okay.
Troy Trojans.
Okay. We're switching. Now I got to go over this little notebook and make sure I put Troy down. Um. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm right there with you. I'm taking Troy. I mean, they looked halfway decent in the first half against, or honestly, the first 3 quarters against JMU. Um.
And
I like them a lot.
the Sun Belt's just a different league from Conference USA. Let's be honest.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's kind of the little brothers of the SEC, right? There's more dog fights in there, but it's just the little brothers. I mean, it's not as, massive, but um, I think the next big game I think that we were going to talk about is our kind of six that we've taken away from me. Like we've kind of looked and gone, okay, these are the kind of the big six bowl games outside of the playoffs that we like. Um, I think the first one is BYU Georgia Tech. Obviously, that was a big game for us that we chose. Also on the betting line, -3 Troy. I'm smashing that. You should do the same.
Absolutely.
That's where I'm at. Um, I think you and I were on the same page on this one. I think we like Georgia Tech. Now, obviously, a lot of these bowl games and a lot of our picks are very dependent on rosters right now. Um,
We'll
but
probably see an updated pick if something happens.
oh,
Whether that
100%.
be someone opting out or entering the portal.
I think BYU's team doesn't change. Obviously, they're really young on the offensive side of the ball, especially at the quarterback position. So I don't think really anything changes. But if if the Georgia Tech team doesn't change, I like Georgia Tech a little bit better. Obviously, they have a lot better of a
Same here.
run game. So my pick is Georgia Tech pre transfer portal and declaring for the draft and everything. But that's my initial pick. Obviously, that's a big one. It's BYU -2.5. Honestly, if you could take an alt line, I would take. I would probably take the plus. Honestly, I'd probably take a plus alt of 4.5. I think that's probably what I would take. BYU to cover 4.5. I'd take and on an alt line. That would be my initial pick. Another big one for us, obviously, is USC at TCU. That's a big one. Obviously, I can't stand Lincoln Riley, um, so I'm going TCU here. Um, I despise everything he's about, and I think he has his recruiting class coming in, but I think he's about to lose a lot too. Um, so give me TCU, especially in San Antonio. That's not a far trip for a lot of people in Fort Worth. They're going to travel really well, and so that's my initial pick. Super simple, super easy.
USC fans, they're everywhere. Lincoln Riley, he's the quarterback whisperer. He's got Jaden Maeva playing at a high level. Give me USC. I say quarterbacks win games. I think Josh Hoover's better. I just think Lincoln Riley can get the most out of Jaden Maeva this game, and I don't think TCU has the defense to stop USC's high-powered offense.
Okay. Okay.
That saying, if Makai Lemon opts out of the bowl game, look for someone else to step up on USC's team. And I think it's going to be running back Kendra Miller.
Okay. Okay. Here, obviously, with me taking TCU, I love the spread. plus 6.5. I like it. I think honestly, if you want to take a different bet on that, I like the over. I think it's going to be a really high scoring game. I don't think there's going to be a
That
lot of
over's
defense.
hitting probably by halftime.
Yeah, I think your safest bet is probably taking the over of 58.5 on that one. Another big game that we kind of skipped over. We kind of talked about it a little bit. Penn State Clemson. Um, I think that's going to be a pretty decent game. I know Jared, you didn't really want to talk about it because it's kind of the
I
kind
just
of the
don't think it's going to be worth watching. You're going to have so many opt outs.
yeah. I
Penn
think it's going to
State's
be a
entire
crapper
roster is
game.
probably going to transfer to Virginia Tech or
Yeah,
somewhere else.
I think it's going to be a crapper game, but
Clemson, you're going to have opt outs.
I think we're going
They're
to
probably going
find
to
a diamond in
transfer
the
too.
rough. We're going to find a diamond in the rough that game. I think it's going to be a younger cat who is, everybody in front of him is left. He'll jump into the spotlight and he'll shine. Now, I don't know if that's at the O line, D line. I don't know what position that'll be at, but I feel like that's kind of where that game comes from. Is hey, what are we gonna see? This is kind of Cade Klubnik's if he plays this game. It's kind of that last game for him to kind of put his seal on his film.
Christopher Blazina.
The
Everybody
next,
know him as
now
fast.
this arguably is probably the biggest bowl game. Is Michigan versus UT. Scroll up a little bit. It's you passed it right up there.
Is it?
Yeah, right there. Number 18 versus number 13. I think this is a huge game. Obviously, you're going to have transfers. We talked about that. I think as the team stays right now, I like Michigan. I do. And again, Texas is a good team. I don't negate that. I know I hate them because I'm an OU fan and they're Texas. They're a good team. They're a really good team. But I think Michigan they're still young at a few positions, and I think this is kind of them to sharpen up their tools a little bit against a good team, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a close game. Honestly, I probably like the Michigan cover of plus 4.5 there, because I do think it's going to be a close game. I think the game's going to be won by maybe 3 points.
I think if Texas has the majority of their whole team, that's going to be the best defense Michigan has seen all year. And this is also, if Arch Manning plays, I'm fine with that. I think Matthew Caldwell and KJ Lacey are plenty good enough, especially a year under Sark's tutelage, to win that game. So give me Texas.
Okay, okay. Like I said,
I don't see why Arch Manning wouldn't play the game. I think he's coming back next year. I don't think he's NFL ready right now.
no,
So
he's
give me
not.
Texas.
Yeah, like I said, I don't mind it. Like I said, I think Texas is a really good team. I think they have it. Our last two games to wrap up the bowl season. I do believe these are the last two. Um, they are. These are actually the last two completely that wrap up the entire bowl season for us. SMU Arizona. I like this game just because, um, you know, obviously I coached Kevin Jennings, so I like SMU in this game. I think he's kind of had a rough patch a little bit through these past couple of games, but I think he's still a really, really good quarterback, and I think he has the tools. He's going to come back next year for his third year. He's going to try to put a stamp on the NFL resume a little bit better. Um, but I like SMU here. Arizona, obviously, if their quarterback Fafita plays, I think they'll be a little bit more competitive. I don't see him playing in this game, but if he does, it'll be a really, really competitive game.
Yeah, same here. I got SMU. I
You
just don't see. I know Arizona's ranked higher. I know they're favored, but Brett Lashley, former Auburn OC, love him to death. I think he gets this game done.
Yeah. I, the bet here, guys, I think it's just straight up. Just take the SMU money line. I wouldn't mess with the spreads. I wouldn't mess with the over unders. I'm just taking the money line straight up. Now, we're going to talk about this last game, Wake Forest and Mississippi State. You may be sitting here, Caleb, Jared, why in the heck are you covering this game? Well,
Hey, all football is good football.
I,
I'm all for more football.
I think a halfway decent ACC team versus a lower tiered SEC team. I think that is a combination for a barn burner to end out the college football bowl season. I really do. And that's kind of what we agreed on. I think that's kind of where we sat at. I personally, Mississippi State, obviously Jeff Lebby, he was the old OC for OU. He's been doing really good things out there. I like Wake Forest a little bit better. I'm using them in a dynasty in college football. They've got a really good running back, a halfway decent quarterback. They've got some athletes on the outside. So I think Wake Forest's offense is probably going to be a little bit too much for Mississippi State's defense.
See, I think the exact opposite. I I think
Okay.
Mississippi State's offense is going to be too much for Wake Forest this year.
Okay.
And you got SEC guys. Wake Forest hasn't faced a running back like Fluff Moffitt, 240 pounds, running the 4.5,
No, he
running
hasn't.
full downhill. He's a bowling ball, and you can't. It's going to take more than one guy to bring him down. And then you got Brennan Thompson. I know you're familiar with him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's fast. You get him the
Does
ball,
Wake Forest
he's
have a
gone.
guy that can cover him? Like, let's be honest. And then Blake Shapen, former Baylor quarterback, plenty of experience.
Yeah.
And if Blake Shapen doesn't go, Kamario Taylor, four-star freshman, is a dog. And that offense is completely different when he is under center. So I don't care who plays quarterback at Mississippi State. I'm taking Mississippi State all the way.
Okay. We've got one thing to
And I
cover.
think that is and I think 6-7 is a great year for Jeff Levy, seeing as what he has had to deal with this year.
Oh, 100%. And he's had a pretty decent, I wouldn't say great, he's had a pretty decent recruiting class. Jared, if you wouldn't mind, close the stream. Can you kick back on that stream for me and go to our general chat? I just put something in there. I know we kind of talked about it. I think this is the last thing we're going to cover. We'll make it quick. We're kind of rolling here. Um, but this is huge news. Obviously, we talked about, my biggest snub was Notre Dame. Well, they basically put their foot down and said, "You want to pull that crap? Guess what? That's what's going to happen." Um, and so they're not going to a bowl game. They said, "We're not doing it. We're done. Y'all can have it. Y'all want to snub us out? Fine, whatever." Personally, I don't think really Notre Dame plays anybody. I think if they want respect, they've got to join. They've got to join a conference. I know it seems so irrational for somebody to say that, but you want to be taken serious, go play league games. And they have kind of a deal with the SEC or ACC. I get that, but again, it's the ACC. You're sitting right in the backyard between Purdue and Indiana, who are both Big Ten teams. Join the Big Ten. You want to be taken serious? Join the Big Ten. Go play. So, I get it. You're pissed off because you didn't make it, but I mean, you can't sit there and pout about it. Like you don't play anybody all year. You just don't.
I would be fine with them joining the ACC. I mean, all their other sports besides football play in the ACC conference schedule.
Yeah.
I would be perfectly fine with joining the ACC. One or two things are going to happen, if not both, this offseason. College football playoffs can move 16 teams,
Yeah.
or Notre Dame joins a conference.
I
One or the
think
other, or both.
I think honestly, I think both will happen. I think it's the only way that
Me too.
anything can be like. I think Notre
We're
Dame
going to see
sees
more
this now.
parity in college football. Like, we're seeing Vanderbilt compete for a college football playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean,
Who would have thought that 2 years ago when they announced we're going to, or last year when we're announcing that we're going to 12 teams? No one in their right mind thought Vanderbilt was even going to come close to sniffing it.
no.
And then you see they finished the AP like 15 or 16. Maybe it might have even been 14.
I think they finished at 14 and Texas finished at 13 because they had the head-to-head and Texas beat them. But
Yeah.
no, I don't disagree with you. I personally I don't like that they're throwing a fit because they didn't make the CFP. Sorry, you got beat by Miami at
Yeah.
the beginning of the year. They have the head-to-head against
It's
you.
kind of embarrassing. And then they changed their like social media logos to Georgia. No, they changed it to Texas Tech after they beat BYU. Then they changed it to Georgia's logo after they beat Alabama. And then they get left out and delete those posts, which I think is hilarious.
I mean, yeah, like you want to get taken serious, go play with the big dogs. And you say you're good, go play in
Not
the
even
big.
that, just schedule better. I'm fine if they stay independent.
Well,
But
it's
you
hard. It's
schedule
hard.
them.
It's hard for you to
Didn't you
schedule.
you had them down the entire game, and then you allow them to march down the field, and you allow Marcel Reed to throw up a prayer and the tight end make one of the catches of the year.
Yeah,
Just win that ball game. We're not having this conversation. Y'all are in.
yeah, and it does suck for them, right?
Or
Because the two teams ahead of them
I'm
beat them.
okay with the Miami loss because week one, everybody's still figuring out who they are. Like, I'll be perfectly honest. I didn't think Ty Simpson was a good quarterback week one. I tell you what, he shut me up week four when they go up into Athens and just beat them. He single-handedly beat Georgia
Yeah,
by 3 touchdowns. I want to say final score like 24-17.
and personally for me, I don't even think Alabama should have gotten into the playoffs. I think they should have been dropped out. They got boat raced in the SEC championship. I personally think that 9 and 10 should have been Miami and Notre Dame. That's just me personally. Again, I'm not mad at it because Alabama is a really good team. But I mean, if we're looking at just kind of what life is in the college football, Notre Dame, Miami should have probably gotten in over Alabama. But that's neither here nor there.
That's where they differ. I think Bama should have got in,
Do I
but I
think
think
they
they
should
should
be
have been the
should
10
do?
seed, and Miami. They
Yeah.
should have been the 10 seed, and Miami should have been the 9 seed.
why
That's
why
the
we
only argument I have against playoffs.
why you lose by 3 possessions in a conference championship? I get you're playing an extra game when nobody else is, but how you don't move a spot after losing by 3 scores kind of mind boggles me. But hey, they don't pay me to make those decisions, so it is what it is.
I mean, the committee set a precedent 8 years ago
Yeah.
when the 10-2 Auburn Tigers played Georgia
Oh God, here
for
we
the
go.
SEC championship, and now the committee just wants to back off that precedent. It's the same thing. They don't want to punish a team who was number 1 seed in the SEC that year. Auburn was. You can fact check it.
And
They were number 1 seed in the SEC.
but it comes down
And then they
to
lose to Georgia by the same score, mind you, the same score. And then Auburn drops down to 5 or 6, but Bama doesn't move.
but again
Can
but
you tell
that
me
goes
there's not a
into
little bit of tax on that script A?
there is, but what I will say, right? They're kind of making it where the conference championship just
I
doesn't
mean,
mean
I agree
anything.
Bama should be in, but
They just again they don't make the conference
see, a lot of
championship worth
conference
anything.
championships. The
That's
only
the
thing
thing.
different from the conference championships is Indiana, Ohio State flip flop.
Yeah.
And BYU got out, which, let's be honest, I don't think BYU was going to be in unless they won that game.
No.
Even if it was close, I don't think BYU is a top 12 team in the nation. I honestly would take Tulane over BYU.
That's kind of
I don't
crazy.
think BYU's that good. I
That's
really don't.
that's a
But your
diabolical
quarterback
take.
was 47. I can't take you serious.
That's a diabolical take. But well,
We got a linebacker playing quarterback.
well, I, personally, I think I think this was a really good video. I think that a lot of people are, going to be excited for this. Um,
Before we sign off,
okay, okay.
who's your Heisman pick?
I
And
said
does it change? Does it change after that game Fernando Mendoza had? Because
nah,
for me, it does. I was okay with him winning it. That was a bad game.
it.
That was a really bad game.
So here's my initial assumption, right? I did say Mendoza. I like him. Obviously,
Name two people.
I still kind of like it. I think my top three right now. Let's just say these are the only three going to New York: Mendoza, Diego Pavia, and Jacob Rodriguez. I think those are my three. Um, Honestly, right now,
You're just going to leave out the best player in the nation?
I mean, I said three. Obviously, four go to New York. Jeremiah Love's gonna go. Um,
Okay, okay.
but
I
that
would
is
say
my
leave out the best player in the nation.
that is my top three. Obviously, four go to New York. Those would be my four
Well,
that
three
I would.
went last year, didn't they? Because it was just Genty, Cam Ward, and Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I mean it changes every year, right? But like, I think those are my top four. Um, I think probably what's gonna happen is they're gonna give it to Pavia. Um, I, I
Yeah.
I think there's three guys better than him, to be quite frank with you. But I do think that they're gonna
I
give
would
it
be
to
okay with
Pavia.
the Jacob Rodriguez over Pavia.
Yeah, I think the most deserving two players out of in my mind would be Jacob and Jeremiah. But I think in the sense of a quarterback perspective, I think Mendoza is arguably the best at quarterback right now as it stands.
If there was ever a year for a quarterback not to win it, it's this year. I think
Oh,
Jeremiah Love
$100%.
honestly should win it, but you could argue Ashton Genty could have won it last year, and I
He should have won it.
agree with you.
He should have won it. I
But
mean, be honest with
first
you.
two-way player since Charles Woodson.
I
Travis
get it.
Hunter wasn't not gonna win the Heisman unless he died last year. Put it that way.
Yeah. Well, with all that being said, we appreciate everybody coming to the house and listening. Um,
For sure.
Jared,
Thank y'all.
Jared, is there anything else that you have for the people? A little war eagle, a little anything, you know?
I'm just ready for transfer portal season, man.
Okay. Hey, everybody,
It's in full swing.
be on the lookout for that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have Jared do recruiting newses. Have him in here, have him going over recruits and everything, transfer portal, high school, any stuff that's coming along down the pipeline. I think I'm gonna take over kind of.
Don't know how we're gonna do it yet. I
What?
think we're gonna do like a top five at each position, maybe. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's gonna be thousands of kids in the portal. We can't
Yeah.
cover every single one of them.
Oh, 100% we
Like,
can't. But
not every single one of them gets covered anyways.
yeah. And
We
that's the
might have
thing.
a top 5, top 10, something like that. Then like a top 10 overall.
Yeah. And what I'll do probably, like I said, you're good with the Jimmy Jinjos, I'm good with the X's O. I'll probably do a little bit of film session, just kind of let the people see like kind of what the mind looks like behind a quarterback, like when we're looking through defenses, kind of go over a defensive, you know, uh, set of like, hey, this is what we're calling here and this. So, if y'all are fans of teams, please let me know what teams y'all would want covered, for Jared to cover recruiting news on that side and me to do kind of like a film session on. But with all that being said, Jared, if you're good, I'm good.
I'm good, man.
All right. Well, make sure you tell each other that you love them. Make sure you tell the people that you love them. And in case we don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.